Hey, I'm Rod. Thanks for stopping by. Well, this is part 2 of my Ukatele or my Ukutele build. Now, I didn't go into full detail on the whole build, just some things that I wanted to do differently that I didn't do on the Stradalele. But I've got the body prepped and ready for the base coat that I need before I put the hydro dip on it. And this is the pattern that I'm going to do with the hydro dip. I'm going to get that on there, but I need to put a base coat on it first. And what I'm going to do is I've got some mica powder. This is chameleon mica powder, and it's an indigo, violet red, and orange yellow chameleon pigment powder. So I need to prep the body, wipe it down, and then I can come back and we can spray it with the base coat and go on from there. Okay, I've got the body and the neck wiped down. I wiped it down with some denatured alcohol, hit them with the tack cloth to get the dust off of them, and I'm going to spray one light coat of some Bulldog adhesive promoter on it. Let it dry for about an hour and mix up the base coat with the pigment powder and spray that. Okay, I'm going to let this dry for about an hour, and in the meantime I'm going to go ahead and mix up my base coat. We'll come back and we'll spray it. Well, that didn't work out exactly as I expected. I thought it might get a good violet or red coat on it, but it didn't. So what I'm going to do is I mixed up some pearl pigment powder, a violet purple, and I want to get this colored purple. Then I'm going to go back over it with the chameleon pigment powder. Okay, that's going to work out a whole lot better. When I get that, I'll probably about another 2 coats. It should be completely purple. We'll let that dry. Then I'm going to go back over it with that chameleon pigment powder. Okay, this worked out a whole lot better with that violet pigment powder, the purple pigment powder. Now I can go and spray it with my chameleon pigment powder, and hopefully that'll work out and I'll get the effect that I wanted. Okay, I'm going to let this dry a little while. We're going to come back and see if it's got the color change to it. If it doesn't, then I'll put another coat on it. Okay, this turned out a whole lot better. I put about 3 coats on it, and it looks really, really good. Out in the sunlight, it really pops. So I need to let this dry for a day before I can dip it. So in the meantime, I'm going to get everything ready, and I'm going to go ahead and pour the epoxy for the pick guard. Okay, so while the paint's drying on the body and the neck, I'm going to go ahead and pour the epoxy for the pick guard. I've already got it all mixed up. The last time I did this for the Stradalele, I used that MDF board and I sprayed the release agent on it and it didn't work. Well, this time I put a piece of wax paper down on the bottom, so when I take this apart it should peel right off. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. We're going to do a little bit of fast forward to get through it real quick, and then we'll see how it turns out. Well, I think that's going to look pretty good as the pick guard. I mean, it's got the same colors as the hydro dip film that I'm going to use, and it's the same color as the body. So we're going to let this dry for 24 hours. Come back, and tomorrow we're going to hydro dip the body and the neck. Okay, I've never done this before. I've watched several videos on how to do this, so I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to dip the back first because I want it to go up the sides, and then when I dip the front, it'll overlap it that way. Okay, I got my water here. It's 120 degrees. It needs to be right around 90 degrees. I'm going to let it cool off, and once it gets there, I can take my hydro film and I can lay it on the top. I got to let it sit for 1 minute. Once it sits, then I can dip it in. Then I got to run inside and rinse it off. Okay, I got the water ready. Now I'm going to set the film on it. That's got to sit there for 1 minute. Okay, I had to run inside and rinse it off with some warm water for about 3 minutes to get that film off the front of it, and there it is. That looks pretty cool. It was actually kind of a pain in the ass to do. This is actually my second time. The first time I just completely screwed it up. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this. I'm going to do the front. I'm going to do the neck. I'm going to get that all done. Then I'll come back and we'll take a look at the whole thing dipped. Okay, I got them all dipped up. There's the neck. There's the back. And I don't know if you can see that or not. There we go. Now you can see it. There's that one and the back. What I got to do now is I'm going to let these hang here for about an hour or so, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to retape up the fretboard on the neck, and then I got to shoot a clear coat on it, let it dry, and then I can put it together. Well, while I'm waiting on the body and the neck to dry for clear coat, I want to go ahead and laser cut the pick guard. Okay, well, I turned the laser on, I had the camera on, and I went to cut the pick guard out of the epoxy, and well, either I had it set too high or too low, but the laser will melt it. So I had to nix that. I went ahead and cut it out with my table router, and there it is right there. I've already rounded off the edges, and that's about what it's going to look like on the body. So I'm still waiting on this to dry. About another 30 minutes to an hour, we'll come back and we'll shoot it with some clear coat. Okay, they're dry enough now. I'm going to go ahead and shoot a coat of clear on it. Okay, I got the first coat on them. I'm going to put maybe 2, 3, 4 coats on it, let it dry for about a day, and then we'll polish it up, and then I can put it together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. When we come back, we should be ready to assemble. Well, the Ukatele is done. It took about 5 days for the base coat and the clear coat to dry because I used a urethane-based clear and base coat, and it takes a lot longer for it to dry. You're really not supposed to use a urethane. You're supposed to use an instrument lacquer, but I got a lot better finish using the urethane. And there it is, right there, and I think that looks pretty freaking cool. Now, I did not use the pick guard that I made. It just didn't look right. I tried to make 2 or 3 more. I just couldn't get one that looked right, so I just went ahead and cut one out of some black pick guard material. I do have some hydro dip film coming that I might use on it, but that looks pretty good. I'll probably just leave it like that. I did take it down to a friend of mine, Brad, at the music store. He did play it for me, so we're going to listen to it right now. And no Stairway to Heaven. Well, I thought that sounded pretty good. I thought it sounded 1,000 times better than the Stradolele. Of course, I did learn a lot building the Stradolele, especially about attaching the neck. The idea that I had for the neck on the Stradolele, it just didn't work. It'll play and all that, it just didn't work. Putting a heel on this one worked out better because I'm able to adjust the angle of the neck. It helped me to be able to get the intonation just right. I mean, it just sounds really, really good. But now the problem, I want a whole set of these soprano size guitars. I want a soprano size Stratocaster. I want a soprano size Flying V. And I'm going to make those eventually sometime in the future, and I'll post those. So I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.